Our goal is two in many ways. One is to make it possible for anyone who wants to give back to the community to be able to as easily as possible, right? And for our nonprofit and agency partners, it is to make it as easy for them as possible to access the kind of talent and the kind of skills that each of you and so many New Yorkers will bring. Now, we spend our entire day, as I say, our lives are spent in the tension between these two groups, right? What volunteers want, what agencies need, and the fact that they don't really get each other all that well, frankly, right? A lot of people who go, how many people go into a homeless shelter before their first volunteer experience? Not many, right? So how do we prepare you for what you're going to see? And I know that when people say, I want this to be easy, I want this to be flexible, they leave out a third word. They want it to be good. Nobody wants easy, flexible access to a crappy experience, right? You know what I mean? We can get that anywhere. You know what I mean? The subway was 75 cents then. You could do that easy, right? So, remember also, and I remind myself of this because we've grown, by the way, to a point where just in March alone, we had 1,360 projects happening around the city, right? And I remind myself that the 35,000 people who have come through our volunteer orientations and look at those projects honestly believe that they can click sign up on any one of them and that they will have a good and meaningful experience. Okay? Now, the way we make that happen, and this is about you also, because everything is about you tonight, is we believe in leadership. We believe that leadership has to happen outside of our organization and inside of our organization. Okay, last year, 43,000 people, individuals, right? I want you to know we don't count like people 17 times and say there's 17 different people. 43,000 individuals volunteered their time, and that was the efforts of only 60 people who made that happen on the staff level. That's an amazing amount of leverage, as the entire nonprofit industry has. But the way we do that, Laura and I were talking before, we work with volunteer team leaders, folks who come through our ranks. They show a great amount of dedication. They apply for the job, they come in and interview with us, they go through a training, and then they agree to be the leader at the project, right? And then when folks sign up through our program, what actually happens is Laura gets an email, saying, Reed just signed up for your project, make sure he's ready, And then on the day that Reed shows up, Laura's there, hopefully with a smile, unless it's before 10 a.m. She doesn't really smile then, but none of us do. But the job of our staff, again, is to work with Laura, work with the contact at the agency, and make sure every one of those projects is great and meaningful. And our leadership ranks are about 800 people right now. So one staff member works with 30 or 40 team leaders who are all working with 10 or 20 volunteers. And in those little groups, just like the nonprofits that Barnabas was mentioning before, those little groups, each are doing their little part, if you will, in the city, and then it all adds up. Last year, on our ongoing program, we filled 68,000 volunteer positions at about 1,000 nonprofits in the city. Right? On top of it, we were able to provide big days of service that put another 14,000 people into the parks and gardens. And then in between all of that, we collected 90,000 coats. So the effort, though, that goes into this is, and this comes back to you and professional, right? I really believe that the secret of NYCares' success is very simple. We do whatever we say we will do. And we do it when we say we will do it. Now that may be because volunteers expect a lot and you deserve to expect a lot, and you should expect a lot. But if a volunteer is going to show up at 10 a.m. on a Saturday morning expecting to read to a child, they're not going to sit there for an hour. Not if we have anything to say about it, right? You know, Woody Allen always said 90% of genius is showing up, right? So the most basic parts of running a business, returning phone calls, returning emails, telling people what you can and honestly cannot do, is good business, all right? And to make that the foundation underneath all the dreams that you have and all the passion you have, and then implement those very basic processes, and I promise you can grow just like NYCares did. I am so glad that this group exists, and I so hope that someday you are the old nonprofit professionals group, at which point I will be allowed to become a member. All right, thank you so much.
If you could just give him one more round